Alex.
Hey Alex, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm calling from River Hills, one of the representative's constituents. It was brought to my attention that he made a statement about Wisconsin voter ID affecting the vote in November. And I'm just wondering what he meant by that, or to what degree he feels that the voter ID is going to affect the election.
Well, he's made it clear in his statements afterwards that he's meant that it is going to affect the vote, that you're going to stop fraud.
And does he have, are there links that you have that show the evidence of how much fraud has happened in previous elections?
No, we do not have links.
So how do you know how much fraud is happening?
Okay. So I know where you're going with this. If I could get your name, I know where you stand on this. If I could get your name and your address, I could log your information and pass it along to the D.C. office. They can get you a formal response back.
That would be great. My name is Michael Bootzin.
Okay. Address?
Address is in River Hills, 53217.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye. So, isn't that interesting? So he's going to send a note to Washington, D.C. Well, how about I just call the Washington, D.C. office? It seems like a good idea, doesn't it?
Thank you for calling Glenn Grothman's office. Tiffany speaking.
Hey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing well as well. So I am calling from River Hills, Wisconsin, one of the representative's constituents, and I called the Fond du Lac office, and they suggested that I call the D.C. office. It was brought to my attention that the representative made a statement about voter ID laws affecting the elections in November, and I am wondering of a little bit more specifics of what he means by that and how exactly the voter ID laws will affect the elections.
Unfortunately, I can't speak on behalf of the congressman.
He hasn't made a statement or
Not yet.
given you permission to communicate to the constituents?
I can't speak on behalf of the congressman.
Okay, then can I schedule a meeting with my representative? Or why doesn't he have some sort of formal letter addressing voter ID laws, why he voted for it, why he thinks that it's going to affect the elections, or how it's going to affect them? Has he made any statement to you, his staff, on how to field calls in relation to voter ID?
Unfortunately, I can't speak on behalf of the congressman. We don't have a comment.
But you're his staff member. You are the people who speak on behalf of the congressman. I mean, that's kind of your job, is the constituents call the office so they can communicate to the representatives, and then the office has the authority to speak on behalf of that representative because he's very busy. So I'm trying to communicate to my representative, and all I'm asking, it's a pretty simple question. When you make a decision, usually we have reasons we make decisions. So I'm just asking why he made the decision to vote for voter ID, and what was it that prompted his statement that the voter ID will affect the November elections?
I can't speak on behalf of the congressman on that issue, but what I do know is that he voted for the voter ID laws to help curb voter fraud.
Ah, voter fraud. Very good. So is there a link or information that I could be sent that shows the evidence of how much voter fraud occurred in previous elections? In other words, he must have seen a lot of evidence that showed an exorbitant amount of voter fraud in previous elections. I mean, why would you vote for something if you haven't seen the evidence of it? So he must have that on file, right?
Again, I can't speak on behalf of the congressman or offer any comment.
Right. I'm just wondering about the information that the congressman has, not necessarily a statement by him. I'm just asking for a link to the information on voter fraud in previous elections.
I don't have any information to give you.
You have no information to give me, but my representative felt that he had enough information in order to make a vote. Do you see how this is kind of interesting? So, is there a form letter that the representative has taken time to say, hey, this is my opinion, here's how I came to this conclusion?
All I can say is that he voted for voter ID laws to help curb voter fraud.
Right, which is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. I support it 100% if there is, in fact, a problem with voter fraud. So he must have found the problem. And what I'm trying to do is to see, to learn, take this as an opportunity for a constituent to learn from the representative, because usually us constituents are pretty ignorant. And the representatives are doing a lot of research that the constituents really just don't know or understand. So I'm trying to educate myself through my representative. So what I'm asking is I think it's great that he voted for it. I think that's awesome. But he must have had evidence that supported his vote. So can I see that evidence? Or a link to websites or documentation? That would be extremely helpful.
I can take down all your comments and pass it along to the congressman, and we can get back to you.
That would be really great.
So what is your name?
Michael Bootzin.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too. Wow, that's fascinating. Now, what kind of response do you think I'll get through trying to communicate and educate myself from my representative? Let's see how this unfolds.